So I'm just going to do a little video on how to put an invisible zip in. Okay, so I've just made this little mock-up of the back of the skirt with a waistband and neckline, and I've got a bit of a face in here as well. Now, if you've got very silky fabric, you've got to make sure that you overlock all your seams that you're going to be working sewing near, so your back seam and your waist seam. If you're using very silky fabric, just put like a little strip about 2 centimetres wide down that back seam, okay? I'm not going to do that on this because this is nice and this is upholstery fabric, so it's nice and solid. So I'm just starting with with the right side. Okay, so this is the right hand side of the fabric, okay, of the dress, right hand panel of the dress. And if you see here, I'm using an industrial machine, so I'm using these zipper foots. So there's 2 for whatever side you're sewing. So with this one, if you see, the needle's coming down on this side of the foot, and on that one, the needle will come down on that side. So hang on. So if you've got a domestic machine, you'll just have one foot that you can position so that the needle's either sewing on this side of it or on the other side. So for the right or the left. Okay, so this is the right. So for the first bit, you need to have your needle in the right hand position so it's sewn to the right of the foot. And I'm just going to get my zip. Okay, so I've got a contrasting colour so you can see what I'm doing better. Okay, so this is an invisible zip. Okay, so it looks totally different than a standard zip, in that you can't see any teeth on this side, and also the puller is like this nice little sort of teardrop shape. So I'm going to open it up, right? Okay, and I'm going to turn it over. Right. So I'm going to put the very top of the zip to the top of the collar. Do not put it like that. You've got to leave plenty of space for your facing. If you put that too close to the top, you're going to get it's not going to be a nice line. You're going to have a smiley face effect. And I'm just going to line this up with the overlocking. But if it's okay if you haven't got enough space, you can line up with the edge as well. But I'm going to line up with the overlocking because I've left a 2 centimetre seam allowance. Okay, and I'm going to fold this back. Right. So basically, you need to keep your fingers out of the way here. So you definitely don't want the needle coming through your finger. But you need to, as you go in, you need to pull these teeth back. Okay, and you want to sew as close to those teeth as possible. You see? Just keep folding it back. Now, on an industrial machine, there are actual proper invisible zipper feet that do this for you. No, actually, this is very short. This zip is probably a bit too short. If I was making a proper dress, it's not coming down far enough because your zip needs to come down as far as your hips, which is usually 20 centimetres lower than your waistline. Okay, so now I'm going to just go down as far as I can, okay? As close as I can. It's getting a bit difficult here, so I might stop there and just zoom off a little bit. Okay? Right. So now I'm going to zip up the zipper. Now I want my seam allowances, my sort of waist seams to match up because it's going to look really bad if they don't, so I'm going to get a little snip. What I'm going to do is just nick the actual zip itself on this side. Okay. I'm going to put my zip down. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so actually, the back centre seam of the dress should have already been partially put in, okay? You don't have to go the whole length of the zip, but sort of where about the zip finishes. So usually to about 20 centimetres below below the waistline, if you can just sew from there a seam, and that should be done before the zip goes in, okay? Your zip might not come down to it, but it's fine, okay, it's just there. Okay, so now the thing to do, the reason we put that little nick in, is what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that little nick in the zip and lie it on top of the seam. See the way I've done that? And now I'm not going to change the foot at this stage, I'm just going to turn it round. And the first thing I'm going to do is sew that little bit in, because if that's in, everything else is in the right position. Okay, so I'm just going to do that. Then I'm going to pull this zip up. Okay, where is it? So I'm quite happy with that now, so I'm just going to carry on and do the rest of it. So take my zip down again. I'm going to start as close to the bottom as possible. Okay, so run in here and gradually get closer and closer to those teeth. Okay, now when you're going over a seam, you tend to get like the zip can stick there, so I tend to leave quite a bit of space, because that tends to be a sticking point for invisible zips, and sometimes you can like really break them. I'm going to go in a little bit closer here. Wasn't quite close enough there. If you've got a zip that's the same colour as your dress, a little tiny bit of zip showing is fine. Okay. So yeah, just be careful not to nick your plastic teeth. If you nick your plastic teeth, you're going to have to unpick it, because the zip's going to get stuck, the zip pull is going to get stuck on it. Okay. Now, for some reason, I'm a bit higher up on this side. That could be a problem. As long as we've got, see there? Yeah, so I'm actually, to be honest, yeah. Okay, that's okay. Okay, so there we go. So it looks okay. Side seams are together. We need to sort this bit out now, okay? So we've only been able to sew to here. So what we need to do now is change our foot over and have the needle landing on the left hand side of the foot. So I'll go and do that and finish it off. Okay, so put my other foot on. So you see the needles coming down to the left of this, of the foot. And I have actually resewn this again. Anyone with eagle eyes might see, because I wanted these to exactly match at the top. Okay, because we need to have space to put the facing on. So if they don't match at the top and one's up here and one's down there, you're going to have to do it again. And also, I turned the seams round because the seams have to go the same direction. Okay, so I had one going up and that was making it not lie nice, so I've just resewn it there. So I'm just going to do the bottom bit now. So what I do for this, fold it over. Going to just start sewing over the actual sewing I've already done up to the hip line, and now I'm going to keep sewing until I reach that stitching. I'm going to get as far in as I can here, just so I've almost caught those stitches, okay, from the zip. And what happens is it will disappear. Oh, where is it? Like disappear on this side. Obviously this zip isn't long enough, it should be down here somewhere, but it just gives you the idea. So basically what you want is your waist seams to match. You want this to be nice and flat here. There's probably going to be a little bit more space on the waist for the zip to pull up, and then you shouldn't be able to see it up this back seam. And you need space at the top to put your facing on, which I'm going to do now. It's easy. Okay, so I've got my bit of facing. What I'm going to do is sew it to this bit first. I probably could do it my normal foot on now for this, but I'm fine. Okay. I'm going to fold that over and the stitching line, and there's like a plastic top. There's no teeth to worry about, but we'll come down about a centimetre, whatever your seam allowance is for your neckline. Okay, and there we go. I haven't shaped this. Let me just give you a... And then I'm going to fill that back on itself, poke it through, and okay. So that's how to do the face and how to put the facing in. Okay. And then do the same to this one as well. Make sure that when you put the facing in, you're sewing them exactly 1 centimetre down so that these are matching. Okay, so that's it.